Hey guys, Johnny from Ignite here. Welcome back to another little rant video. I am back at it, but it's an important topic. It relates to a really pivotal question that people have concerning English in general, and especially concerning exams and your final HSC exams, or even if you're in the lower years, it'll be relevant to you as well. And that is, should I, and then there's how do I, but should I memorize my essays? What should I memorize? What value does it give me in doing it? Let's explore it. So when we're looking at memorization, my default position, to cut a long story short, is yes, you should memorize. But what's so important, what I caveat that with, right, is an understanding that memorizing a story doesn't translate into regurgitating it and rewriting it on the day. Learning a base draft story, a base draft, is simply due to the logistical constraints of the HSC exam. Typically, you're going to be confronted with 45 minutes if you're looking at Part A of the HSC English Advanced paper, for instance, or 40 minutes if you're looking at Part 2 for Module A and Module B. You're going to be looking at 40 to 45 minutes to write an essay that is supposed to encapsulate like an entire year's worth of content and skills. So you have 40 minutes to show a marker. This is going to determine 50% of your final mark, more or less. You've got 40 to 45 minutes to show them all of your skills for something that you learnt in a term. So you might have allocated 8 to 10 weeks on a particular module. You have 40 minutes to show off your skills. Why on earth would you leave it to chance? Why would you leave it the chance of a bad day coming and you just not having your mind clear and you're all cluttered and you get in there and you think, oh, I didn't memorize anything, so I really have to think now. I have to think about even the evidence I'm going to use. I have to think about quotes. I have to think about how I'm going to articulate this. How am I going to string all the pieces together? That's a burden you don't want on the day. That is too high a stake. The stakes are too high. The risk of something going wrong is too high in my books to do that. And the other thing, the other obvious point is, if you go around and ask all the people in the last 5 years who have achieved a top 10 state rank, and I've asked a lot of them, to be honest with you, did you memorize most or all of your essays that were relevant to the HSC? The answer is 95% of the time, yes. And the small group of people who say no are either incredibly skilled, they're in that top 0.01% of writers who can do that, or they haven't directly memorized, but they've done about 10 practice essays on the one text, so they basically have, and they're on the day, it's just coming out all natural, but it's effectively the same thing that they've been doing. So basically, 100% of people are either super familiarized with the text to a level that a lot of people wouldn't want to be because they don't want to put in that effort, or they just did memorize a really solid draft that they took in with them. The second part to this problem then is what I caveated this with, which is, yes, I would memorize word for word a draft essay to a given question. Don't do a generic memorization. Don't do a generic essay. Give yourself a question that you are forced to address in that draft. Memorize it word for word, and then spend the rest of your memorization time, or preparation time rather. So after you've memorized it, make sure you've still got days to spare, and you should be doing this also throughout the term and throughout the year anyway, but make sure you've got time to spare after memorizing fully to practice the skill of adapting. So addressing the question. Answering the question is first and foremost the number one priority. But people think because addressing the question is the number one priority that it means that doesn't make sense to then memorize. It's like, no, memorizing comes first in the process of preparation. It doesn't mean it's the most important thing, although there is a strong argument that it really is at the end of the day. But I think memorization doesn't take you nearly as far as memorization and developing that skill of adapting does. So spend time looking at new questions and mold in that draft essay to it. And when I say mold, some people literally will substitute one word or another word, and they'll freak out if the question isn't at all related to the practice question. That's not how you prepare in this way. You have to know the bits of the essay that need to be heavily adapted and the bits of the essay that don't need to be so much. To give you some examples of the parts of an essay that you need to be ready to dispense entirely with the memorized part of the essay, your thesis, your introduction, your first few sentences of that, pretty much you need to be 100% flexible in terms of the introduction you memorized. But the benefit of having the memorized one, even if you get a completely unrelated question to the draft question, is that you've got structures in your mind. You've got ways of articulating your ideas. You know where to put the commas. You know where to insert phrases. in a way that's going to be quick on the day into that 40 to 45 minute time constraint that you can pump out the essay and pump out something that actually addresses the question. So the introduction, topic sentences, which are the first sentences of your body paragraphs, need to be heavily adjusted to the question, and link sentences, which are the last sentences of your body paragraphs, and your conclusion. So those sections need to be heavily catered to the question, to the point that if you read that and your memorized draft, you might barely be able to see how they were at all the same, but in your head, it really did speed up the process on the day because you knew how to think about it, you knew how to structure the sentence. So you can clearly see, hopefully, that memorizing is going to have immense benefits. It doesn't mean that you're going to regurgitate it, but it's going to give you those structures for your sentences, particularly within the body paragraph, that don't need to be as heavily adapted, and it's going to allow you to be fast. This is a game of speed. You've got 40 to 45 minutes to show off a term's worth of work per essay. Don't leave it to chance. Memorize the essay, but develop that skill to adapt to different stimuli, and that combination is going to lead to incredible results for you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I will see you soon, but please do subscribe and like if you enjoyed. See you on the other side.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like the content, subscribe to our channel and we'll have more videos coming your way.
That's right, guys. Thanks for watching. And please make sure you check out our online resource database. We've had a team of state rank achievers and heads of English put these together for you, covering everything from essay structures and examples all the way through to craft of writing and comprehension skills. So check them out at ignitehsc.com.au, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.